Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bandai Namco Podcast, where we give you exclusive deep dives into your favorite games with both the people who make them possible, and the people who love them, which is especially true today. My name is Tanner, and I'm here with three very special guests who are in the middle of their top secret first look at Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And let's just go down the line, introduce yourselves, let the people at home know who you are and what your history with Ace Combat is. We'll start over here.
Sure. I'm Yong, and my channel is Yong, and I cover video games and I play video games, and this is one that's interesting because I'm a little newer to the Ace Combat series, so diving into this kind of at the later stage of the series is really cool, and I'm already having some really good vibes from everything I've played so far, so I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
It's just my turn now?
Yes, it is.
Sweet. Hi, I'm Bricky. I'm variety streamer man, e-clown, the usual type of thing. For Ace Combat, I played the first to third one back on insert retro game console at the time, but didn't really play much of it for a while until 7 recently. And so I got my fingers kind of warmed up about a week ago, and it's been very, very helpful because this is very much an Ace Combat game, and I felt it heavily. So it's been good.
Awesome.
My name is Tucker, or Jericho, and I am also a variety streamer, content creator who I have not played any Ace Combat. I've been familiar with the franchise for a while, and as soon as the trailer dropped, I got really excited at the thought of getting in there and actually learning to fly a plane and doing all the cool stuff that you see, because I've never played it before, never even flown a plane, so new experiences all around.
Wait, you've never flown one, you've never been a pilot, or you've never been in a plane?
No, I've flown a couple times in other games, but that's not the same as what we're doing here.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that, so for you guys' information, so we've done a couple other episodes with vets of the Ace Combat series, and so we wanted to give a chance to people who aren't as familiar to say, wow, this game is actually really great. It totally has been flying under my radar for years. Yeah, so you guys are settle in, man. You're locked in here with me.
I didn't breathe heavily into the mic. I kept the mic away.
You're the only one that could hear that.
For everyone at home, Bricky breathed really hard. But so you guys have played a couple of missions now, and just gameplay-wise, first impressions, how did you feel? How did it grab you? Did it grab you? Tell me, just straight off the dome.
I felt really cool. I got to be honest with you. I think especially with the tutorial and stuff, I don't like being preached to, but it felt pretty easy to do the cool things that I wanted to do. In my head, I'm like, I want to turn quick. I want to do a little loop-de-loop. I want to barrel roll. It was pretty easy to pick up, so I was happy with that. But I am trying to use the expert controls system because it just feels like that makes sense, but I lose the plane and myself often.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the game's starting on standard controls. At first, I was like, because I just played 7 about a week ago, and I was like, this feels a little different, and I didn't realize it was on standard. I moved to expert, and immediately afterwards, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and just darting around like crazy. Once you really get the feel of the expert controls, it's super nice, and it feels like a better 7. It controls like 7, but with a little bits and pieces kind of smoothed out visually and especially the audio. It's so far really, really good.
Yeah, I started on the standard controls, and just now I switched to expert, and I'm trying to get the hang of it. But I can tell that once I get used to it, I'll have a lot more finer control over maneuverability.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's something that I definitely want to master so I can pull off some of the cooler things.
Yeah, I think starting off with standard, is really helpful for anybody jumping in. But yeah, even just a couple missions in, you're like, okay, well let me take this step up now. I kind of know what I'm doing and helping it out. So let's talk a minute before we actually get into the mission content of just how the game looks. One of the big things for Ace Combat 8 is the new cloud system, which maybe just flew by you guys. I said fly again. Maybe just flew by you guys. But the clouds, the aircraft themselves, did any of that sort of just you go wow at any point?
I think in the first, maybe it was the intro sequence or whatever, when you're in the, I'm not going to spoil, but when you're in the back seat of the cockpit with Rex and you take off and you go through the first rain cloud and you see all the rain effects on the. I was like, damn, I gotta. I think I gotta play in cockpit view. I had to change because it's harder to see, but like the clouds look real. You fly through, and it's not like an awkward transition between the outside of the cloud and the in. The audio changes everything. It's very disorienting, like I imagine it would be to fly into a cloud.
Right.
I did notice the clouds had a lot more of that visual kind of bubbliness to them, kind of because in the 7th game, obviously clouds are a major part of the gameplay and the visuals because of the icing and things like that. But actually having them be a lot more pronounced as where they start is one thing I noticed a lot, because sometimes in 7 you're flying through the clouds and you're like, oh, I'm in a cloud now. Whereas this one, it's very clear you are flying into a cloud. There's some other clouds later on in the game that are also very important, but I can't talk about that.
Important clouds. You heard it here first.
Yeah, it just provides that immersion that you'd expect when you're piloting a real jet. Obviously, this game, it's almost like a little more quote-unquote arcadey, but at the same time, there's enough realism there where it really makes you feel like you're in that cockpit and you're making tactical decisions based on what's visible and what isn't, and trying to swerve around clouds or maybe go through them to cut through or to obscure yourself from enemies and everything. So, visually gorgeous, but also a lot of great tactical use as well, and also it can impede you in many ways as well. So all of that plays together really nicely.
Yeah. So Jericho, you mentioned a little bit about the title sequence, but Bricky, you were saying specifically the title sequence was
really
wowing
you.
Really
the title sequence.
I mean, with avoiding spoilers where we can, what was it that was like really getting you about that intro sequence?
I really enjoy, and I know this may be a tired trope to some people, but for me, I just really like when you've got the big scene that hard cuts between the credits, and they do that over and over again to kind of like really show that you're really going into it pretty heavily. Yeah. There's a lot of games, or not actually, there's a lot of movies, but only a couple of games I think do it really well. And so I think that the music choice was particularly good. Oh yeah. And
we'll talk about music.
Yes, but the pilot, because in that sequence you're like the second guy in the back seat, the guy in front of you, the main pilot, his voice actor is also very good. I can't place his name, but he's very good, and he sells that sequence, I think, really well.
Yeah, I think the presentation is a big part of what sells Ace Combat. It's not just planes; it's the scenarios, it's the music, it's the visuals, and the cinematic kind of epic kind of showcase of everything. That makes the heart pump beyond just being in a cool jet and fighter plane and whatever. Yeah,
the term that I've been using throughout all of this is like bombastic. Every moment just feels very bombastic. Like that word just really fits to me.
There's a mission, like the third, I think, I'm not quite sure, where they play a lot of rock music.
Yes,
and that felt like the bombastic type thing you're referring to.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yeah, the third mission, like. The missions before, you have like there's a lot of music going on, there's a lot of talking going on as you're playing through, but in 3 when it kind of just hits that like, and it's like in game, it's in universe as well, that they're like, hey, we're gonna flip on some tunes,
and they're like, turn it up.
Yeah, and it's just like you just start rocking for the whole mission, and like music is a huge part of the Ace Combat franchise. Many people set their watches to one soundtrack or another, and I think that this one is going to be no different. I legitimately do love in 3. It's just like, here's just some rock and roll for you. This is just pure rock and roll. We're not screwing around with anything else. Talking about the planes themselves, the handling of the planes. So we talked a little bit about the control schemes, but the high G turns, the tilting, the autopilot to right yourself up. There's a lot of just meat to it. How did the planes handle for you? Did you find yourselves having trouble with anything? Did anything just feel super easy that you didn't even notice until you were like, oh man, like doing this barrel roll was super easy or something?
Did the two of you do that thing when you're playing and you like lean while you're flying?
I was
naturally
in that. Yeah, I think. Well, since you played 7, why don't you talk about the difference between 7 and 8 with the?
I mean, an Ace Combat's an Ace Combat game is an Ace Combat game, right? Like there is a die-hard audience that really likes how that plays. I don't know if the writing of your ship by the two bumpers was in 7, or maybe I just never pressed it.
The autopilot?
Yeah, the autopilot stuff. Maybe I just didn't press that, but that was nice. That was very good, because sometimes, especially in the clouds, when you're doing crazy maneuvers, you don't know if the water is right there.
Get disoriented.
The water's above you, and you're
it's
like,
me.
That's a big part of it. Did either of you crash into the water?
Yeah, this last mission that I'm
It's
playing.
nice that you get at least one or two of those to bounce off the water before you completely crash. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I definitely used that when I did like a high G turn, right? Like I think one of my favorite things is you're going straight and then they go over top of you and you do that turn so you're underneath or behind them and you're like, I feel so cool.
Yeah, literally every time that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm doing a flip and burn, and then I definitely don't do it right. Like I wish I could see like further outside. Am I flipping and burning correctly? Am I flipping or am I burning? Is it work?
Yeah, but I love the ability in the expert controls to really tilt your plane, kind of really do some really nuanced maneuvers, and you can really look pretty sick doing some stuff where you're like kind of coming in, it's kind of sideways and sweeping in and shooting some missiles. Things blow up and you fly off, and it just and then there's debris that like swoops past you and stuff like that, and it creates for a very like visual eye candy kind of scenario. So I want to master the expert controls, but the standard controls I think is a great place for most people to start because the expert controls definitely take some getting used to.
I do like them for dodging missiles too.
Yeah,
because I run out of flares quick, and so when you can see the little line on your radar kind of coming close, you can hit it really fast at the end. It's fun.
Yeah.
And you can actually go back and forth between controls like mid mission. I don't know if that's maybe kind of a min maxy thing where it's like you run out of flares and you're like, I'm gonna switch to this other one so I can avoid it a little better. I don't know. We'll see how.
Then you pause the music.
I guess that's true.
That's unacceptable.
I mean, if you're changing control schemes on the fly, you're breaking your own immersion at that. But I don't know. I don't know if that's advisable. I'm neither saying that's a good or bad thing. I'm just saying it's possible.
It's actually rather interesting, though. On the point of the music, this one seems to be a lot more rock heavy, a lot more like kind of almost like boy bandish. Where the seventh one was
boy band, like a boy rock band, not like
it's like a boy rock band. Like
okay.
Isn't boy band like a phrase?
It is, but
I'm just making sure.
It's a distinction.
Good. Okay,
a slight distinction.
Well, the point made here in this scenario was that the seventh game was far more like westerny.
Yeah,
they all have the little guitar twangs and stuff. It's much like a hot desert as opposed to this one's on the carrier. So
yeah, in 8, one of your squad mates is like a big rock and roll guy. Yeah, and in that third mission, he's kind of auditioning for another band while you're flying, and you're just like, hey man.
I was kind of not ready for the amount of dialogue that I would have to pay attention to while trying to shoot down 40 different planes. You know what I mean?
They are yappers in this game for sure.
But it's good, like especially when you're talking about that. I was like, oh, I feel like I can't talk too much about the mission without outright spoiling it. But I was like, oh, that's cool how they came to be in the same situation with us right now, and then you get the opportunity to either send your boy off to help them or keep them with your squadron. I think that's like that mechanic kind of caught me by surprise. I knew it would happen. I knew that's a core component, but like trying to keep track of all of that and all the dialogue and everybody while also trying not to crash. It took me 2 missions easy before I was like comfortable.
One other thing. So in watching everybody play in there, I've noticed a lot of the vets of the series are using they're holding the button to sort of keep track on their target. And when I play, I'm struggling to get that down. I think that's because basically it sort of locks your camera to your target and your plane moves around.
It's holding triangle. Yeah.
So you press
that
triangle.
Might have made my life so much easier.
I forget to do it too sometimes.
Well, you're getting ahead of my question because my question was, were you guys doing that at all? Or were you kind of trying to just free aim a little bit more?
I didn't know that was a thing. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to try that when I get back and see how much easier my life gets.
When I was playing 7, my chat was like, "Why isn't he focusing? Why isn't he holding the button down?" And it helps a lot, but also there's sometimes some of the missions there's so many targets.
Yeah,
you just don't bother with it because you're like, "Well, I'm going to fire a missile here, shoot this thing."
Yeah, so. I think it definitely comes in a lot more in like a dogfight situation. So like when they blast over your head, you can move around to it. But yeah, even I'm still trying to get the hang of that because I think that's the thing that takes you from a good ace combat player to a great one is being able to master that and still line up your sights while the camera's moving around you.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that the on-screen indicator for whatever you're locked on with the depth of the arrow showing how far away they are and also the angle and stuff really kind of makes it easy if easier if you lose them and they go past you. I'm like, okay, he's 180 degrees behind me, hit the brake, hit the E-turn and turn around. But now that I know that, probably easier.
I mean, I noticed the prompt comes up to hold triangle when there's something happening in the scene. So I thought that was what the button was for, but I didn't realize.
Yeah, it will do that if there's something big happening for you to focus on. But in your normal gameplay, you can still just. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys are going to go back in after this, so
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see if that like
I think
makes a
it'll-
huge difference, and we'll have
I'm sure
we'll
it
have a
will.
little addendum in the notes on this episode of like, hey, they came back and said that holding triangle to target is really good.
Yes.
I'm gonna write that in the notes for somebody write that down back there. So this is kind of a broad question, but walking in today, maybe you guys didn't really know what to expect. So question part 1 is kind of like, what were you expecting? And the follow-up of that is like, has it met your expectations today? Has it blown your expectations away? Has it made an Ace Combat fan of you? As just a small question, has the experience changed your life today? We'll start from
Turn
from
the
Jericho.
camera around. The guys in suits are staring at me. No. I mean, so I didn't have any expectations. I have no point of reference. But I mean, watching the trailer and stuff, it was clear that it's going to feel like a movie experience when done and played right. And so the first thing that caught me off guard was how long the missions are. Not in a negative way, but like go out there. And how big the map is, because like you cycle through the different radars, and I was like, oh, that's pretty big. And you hit again, and I'm like, I got to go all the way over there. It's gonna be a 5-minute flight. So you go out and you take some people down, and then you return, and you're about to land, and then okay, there's some more people, and I was like, oh, good. I was kind of gonna get annoyed if you go out, you do one little dog fight, because the fun is in the outplaying and in the length and and all that stuff. So
And the circumstances
the
can
circumstances,
change. Right?
yeah. So I only got through 4 missions in the several hours that we had played. I'm very much looking forward to seeing if hopefully that is the standard for the whole game. They're all that long, because like when I saw how much we had to play, I was like, there's no way. Now I'm right, there's no way. I can't do all of that in the time you allotted.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. There were some pleasant surprises. The dog was in 3D this time.
That's true.
That was crazy.
No more JPEG dog.
No more
man.
JPEG. Though I do know the story behind the JPEG dog, and that is a good story. So it's important. But
Fans know. Fans know about
yes, they
JPEG
do.
dog.
Though it caught me off guard when I played it. But no, the dog being in 3D was great. No, the missions were really, really enjoyable. I will say I played 1 through 5, and then at the time of talking now, I did play a later one. I think like 11 or something.
I think you won 9.
9, sorry. Yeah. And it's in Ace Combat fashion, it gets
bombastic.
It gets wacky. or okay, sure, bombastic.
Yeah.
Wacky or bombastic, but it's I mean, for the most part, like I expected some general fascinating story and hilarity mixed with a really sincere combat game, and that's basically what I got.
And
so
you're
good.
happy.
Yeah, so I am happy for that. Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I've just I have a lot of friends who've been recommending me to start playing Ace Combat, and they talk about the holy trinity of Ace Combat, and so I've been trying to find an excuse to finally dive in, and so being invited to this event, I was actually really looking forward to it, because it is something that fans are so passionate about. The folks who do dive in and get into it, they all come out kind of loyal to this thing, and so I was curious to see like what's the big deal, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm coming in now, and it's a very unique style of presentation. It's both arcadey yet simulation-y, all kind of wrapped into one. It's like you said, bombastic, and there's just a very it has a really strong personality. I think is the best way I can put it.
Definitely.
It's not just like a simulator. It's beyond that. It tries to tell a certain story in a very specific way with a very specific style. There's a very strong identity, I think, to Ace Combat, and so I'm starting to understand why it's appealing to a good crowd of people. And I want to play more and keep diving into it and see where the story goes and what the big set pieces are, and see if like it can make a fan out of me. But I feel like so far so good.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we kind of had to pull you guys off the sticks to get you in here.
This is true.
And I'm sure you guys are just chomping at the bit to get back to it. But
Yeah, I'm
before we unleash you guys back on those tougher missions, so having played what you played today, if you could just in a quick elevator pitch, maybe a sentence, maybe a couple words of why should a new player pick up Ace Combat 8?
It's cool. I mean, literally, it's cool to be able to do that. If you like planes too, I was kind of taken aback by how much of the plane tree and skill tree and stuff. I thought it was like, okay, I get my SU-33 or something now. No, no, that's not how it works. So, like, yeah, I think if you're a plane lover, or if you like the idea of these, heavy action-filled sequences, or if you like, the ability to really feel like you are the ace, the guy, the person rather, can't think of a better game to jump into than this one. I mean, hell, go play 7 and then go play 8 when it comes out. But like, I gotta go play 7 now that I've played 8 is really what it comes down to.
7's pretty fun. To almost a similar thing to what you said, but like maybe just slightly expanded upon. Low cortisol rule of cool, because like some of the stuff that you see in Ace Combat, like in all the other Ace Combats, are just bonkersly ridiculous, and it's clearly intended to be that way. And for the most part, sometimes when you just load the missions and the music starts playing and all you see is the clouds, it's just comfy. It reminds you of like a different era of like video games, where that was the main thing back then, where it was just these arcade style missions. Prep yourself for the fun battle and then go from there. And it's nice to still have that. It's nice to still have that feeling. And so I think that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, I think the game's just like, it's just freaking sick. And it's adrenaline inducing. And it gives you like all these emotions. Like, it really makes you feel like you're building up to becoming like a legend. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling that it provides.
Earning your wings.
Earning your wings, yeah. And it's just heart pumping adrenaline. And through all the different facets, not just planes, not just the visuals, but the music and all these things combined paves the road to something where you're just kind of enraptured by the epicness of what you're experiencing. And so I think that's a great feeling to have. And this provides that in spades. Yeah.
Well, I know you guys are just aching to get back on the sticks out there, so we won't hold you too much longer. And all of you out there, the wait is almost over, because Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thieves releases on October 2nd of this year, in fact. What? So you can go out and pre-order it now and punch your ticket to the skies. I've been Tanner. Thank you so much to Jericho, Bricky, and Yong for joining me.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.